Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie if you've never been here before, and on this channel I upload whatever I want. Today is going to be the mid-year book freakout tag, which I've never filmed on my channel before, but I'm super excited to look back in December after experience whatever my reading journey has to offer in the last 6 months of 2025, and I just want to see and compare what those halves were like, if I found any new 5-star favorites. So it'll be fun to look back and see where my reading was for the first half of 2025. Before I get too far into this video, I do have to say this is my second attempt at filming it. I'm still not super happy with the lighting now, but the lighting that was going on in the first attempt was just not doing it for me. Luckily, I only got like 1.5 questions in before I was like, no, this is not happening. So bear with me. Another disclaimer, my neighbor is mowing his lawn, which is fine. He can mow his own lawn whenever he wants. He doesn't have to do it on my time. But I'm hoping that you guys can't really hear that too much. And I'm also hoping that he's almost done, but I'm not sure. Just bear with me. All right, before we get into the official questions, I do have just a couple more things to say. First thing is the first like 10-ish questions are all a part of the original like mid-year book freakout tag. I don't know who created this tag. I'm so sorry. I know it's been going on for years. I know that for years I have been watching BookTube, and almost all of my favorite booktubers have been doing this tag. I don't know where it came from, but of course, I'm not claiming credit to making up these questions. The other thing I want to say is there are about 7 questions at the end. I think I'm going to answer them, but all of the last questions are made by Katie Whitrook, and I love watching her, and I feel like it just adds more to the conversation, and who doesn't want to hear more about books? So overall stats, I have read 29 books up until the point that I'm filming this. Today is June 25th. I think I can finish 2 more books by the end of this month. I'm really gonna try. That will get me to 31 books, which is crazy because I read 31 books in total in 2024. So it's just crazy that I'm reading so much, and I've been really happy with my reading so far in 2025. So I'm excited to see what is in store for the rest of the year because it's just crazy. I've read the same amount of books that it took me a whole year to read within the first half. So super exciting for me. All right, first official question. Best book you've read so far in 2025. I feel like I'm gonna say this for every question, but this was a hard question for me. Only because there are so many books that I read in 2025 that like altered me as a reader and changed my perspective on things in reading. But while trying to figure out my answer to this question, I really just thought hard about what like makes a good book. And in all honesty, it can be a million things. It could be literally just a character that makes you laugh. It could be a setting that reminds you of something familiar. But when you finish a book and you're just like, I could never write that myself, that's a whole other feeling. So for this question, I'm answering with All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd book in the Natural series. I can't really go into detail about what it's about because it is the 3rd book in a series, but just know that if you haven't read this, the plot had to have been written by a mastermind. Like, it's just crazy. I have now finished the series, and this is my favorite book in the series. It just like changed something. Like, I could never have come up with even a fraction of the plot of this. And yeah, this has been the best book that I've read this year so far. Like, I can't stop thinking about this book. All right, next question is the best sequel. And once again, I have to answer with All In. I wasn't trying too hard to like pick different books for different prompts because I just feel like it wouldn't be true if I was like, oh, I already answered All In, I have to find another one. No, I've read other sequels this year and they've been good. Some have even been 5 stars. But this was the best sequel, in my opinion, that I've read this year. This was so good. The next question is a new release you want to get to. There are a ton, but the first one that came to mind, and probably at the top of my list, is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I started reading Carly Fortune last summer, so it's been almost a year. I think I read Every Summer After in August. And I've talked about this in many videos, so I won't get too deep into it. But if Carly Fortune had not included that one trope, I probably would have rated it 5 stars. I loved the atmosphere of the setting. I loved the characters. I loved their relationships with each other. And I loved the writing. It wasn't, we have a little special guest. He's so creepy, I'm so sorry. It wasn't like cheesy writing for a romance, for just a summer beach read romance. It was just so good. If she didn't include that one trope. I read Meet Me at the Lake this past March. I actually read it on like my birthday getaway, and that was so fun. And again, I didn't like that one as much as Every Summer After, but I really, really loved the setting again, the writing again, the characters, and I was like, I know I like Carly Fortune's writing. I just need to find the right one. So when I found out about this, One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and I've seen the reviews of people who had the same thoughts as me on Every Summer After, I knew I had to purchase this immediately. I'm waiting to read it until I read, what is her most what's the one before that? I literally have it. This summer will be different, right? I think so. I just got it in the mail yesterday actually, so I don't know when I'm gonna read it, but I do want to read that one so bad. I'm gonna read that one first, even though I know it has no connection to this one, but I'm so excited because this book is set in the same world as Every Summer After, Percy and Sam's world. And from what I've heard, Charlie, who was a character in Every Summer After, gets his redemption, I guess. And that one trope that Carly Fortune puts in her books doesn't take place in this one. So, super excited to read this one. I have some very clingy pets, so if you're panting behind me, or right on cue if you see this guy getting into stuff, please don't judge. All right, next question. Biggest surprise and biggest disappointment. The biggest surprise for me was Daydream by Hannah Grace. I have read the other 2 books in this interconnected standalone series, and it's not that I didn't like them. How do I say this without bashing people? This isn't even the biggest disappointment question yet. This is just the biggest surprise. But Hannah Grace's writing isn't my favorite. It's not my cup of tea. I just don't mesh with it very well, and so it does get in the way of my enjoyment of her books. And so when you couple that together with characters I don't like, I'm like, what is there going for this, you know? So, and for the first 2 books, I was just kind of like, eh. But for Daydream, on the other hand, I actually really enjoyed this one, and I rated it 4 stars. It wasn't perfect because, of course, I'm just not a big fan of the writing, but the characters in this book has very good representation for people with ADHD, people with anxiety, and like chronic people pleasers. Like, it is just perfect representation. And so I really resonated with Hallie, the main female character, but also with Henry for different reasons. Hallie's anxiety and the way that she just, eldest daughter, like people pleaser vibes, like I really resonated with her. But then also on the other hand, Henry and his ADHD and like just like really struggling to do what he needs to do, even at the high stakes that he has. I just really resonated with them both. So I really enjoyed Daydream. Biggest disappointment, I have 2 for this. One is a newer release and one is not. I'll start with the one that is not a newer release, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This was just really hyped up by people who liked Never Lie by Frida McFadden, and I liked Never Lie. This one was no. I think I rated it 2.5 stars, and that was me being generous. I just didn't like it. I was confused, and then at one point I wasn't confused anymore, but it wasn't enough to sway me from my feelings of the first like 80% of the book, so it was just not good to me. The second book is How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I rated this a 3.5, and honestly I'm thinking it's pretty high for a rating. In all honesty, it's probably now a 3 when I think about it. Truly, I just don't think the main characters should be together. I don't think that they should be in a relationship with each other. I also don't like the way that it was written. I think books can be written in third person point of view and be fine. Like, of course, not every book needs to be written in first person. But this one was just not done well. Let's move on. Favorite new author. This could be debut or new to me. Ashley Flowers. I read her debut novel in January. I want to say it came out in 2024 though. So this one's kind of like a debut author. She killed it with, what is that book called? I'm blanking, guys, I'm so sorry. All Good People Here. She killed it with that book. I rated it 5 stars. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I literally binged like the last half of it. It was so good. I'm so excited for her next release. I think it's called The Missing Half, and it came out on May 6th. So I don't know when I'm gonna read it. I'm sure we'll read it in book club eventually, but I'm super excited to get to this one because I just loved All Good People Here. Next author, this is not a new author, but new to me, Lisa Jewell. I read None of This Is True with book club. I rated that 5 stars. That was a phenomenal thriller. And I'm just so excited to pick up more Lisa Jewell. Again, with all of these authors that I'm gonna mention for this question, I've only read 1 book from them, but I just know that further books are going to be my cup of tea. Like, you can just tell right off the bat with an author's writing if you're gonna enjoy them in the future or if you're not. And Ashley Flowers, Lisa Jewell, and Ali Hazelwood are those people. Ali Hazelwood, the only Ali Hazelwood I've read was her newest release in February, Deep End. I'll get into Deep End on a later question. I don't think it's for everybody, but what I will say is Ali Hazelwood's writing in that, I've heard even people that didn't like Deep End were like, I still love her writing, and it's like her true writing in that one. So I'm like, okay, then I'll like the others. So I'm excited to get into more Ali Hazelwood and read her backlist, especially like, what was it? Like the Women in STEM? Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called, Women in STEM? I don't know, but like the Love Hypothesis, those books, I'm super excited to get into those. All right, newest fictional crush. This one was hard for me because I couldn't really think of any. I just talked for like 5 minutes and I wasn't even recording. This video is not going well. It was really hard for me to even consider this question because I could really only think of fictional crushes from like my middle school era, like Divergent, Hunger Games, and books from that time in my life. And I haven't really had a fictional crush in my adult reading period of life. So this was hard, but there's one character who I think could be considered, and I need to see more of him. I need to see more. I need to finish the series, or at least be up to date in the series. There's 3 books out right now. There's going to be 5. I'm in the middle of the second one, and that is Xaden Riorson. Okay, listen, 4th thing we'll talk about later too, but that book had me kicking my feet. All right, mostly due to this man. All right, let's move on. A book that made you cry. I didn't really cry, like actually cry to this, but I did, however, tear up, and that's the closest I've gotten to crying while reading a book this year. Really, ever. I don't cry a lot when reading. I cry a lot when watching movies. Big time. But I think a large part of that is because when I see other people cry, it makes me cry. I think that might be why, like when I see people cry in movies, I end up crying in movies. Same goes for real life, by the way. If I see you crying, I'm probably gonna cry too. But this book was just terrible. This book was so terrible that I rated it 5 stars. I tabbed one thing. Let's see what it is. I have no idea what happens when we die, but Lenore Dove believes nothing ever dies, and we just move from one world to the next, like the Covey did, from town to town. Like in one of your songs, my ghost will hunt down your ghost and never give it a moment's rest. It goes on to be worse, actually. It gets worse. It gets worse. I'm done thinking about this book. I'm done. Don't bring it up again. On the flip side, a book that made you happy. I have 3 books for this. Let's start with the first one. This book right here, Fourth Wing. Literally my review is talking about how I just loved being able to read this and not take it too seriously. 5 stars. If it has flaws, I don't care. I'm not looking at them. Does my star rating system maybe mean nothing after you hear that? Yes. Do I care? No. I was kicking my feet, you guys. Ugh, just the vibes, the academic setting, the dragons, the romance, like I ate this up. And I'm finally reading Iron Flame and it's getting good, okay? It's getting good. What can I say? What can I say? I ate this up. I vlogged this whole experience. So if you want to see that vlog, click up here. The next two books I actually read at the same time because I let my bestie choose my reads for one of my Tackling the TBR episodes. If you want to see that episode, again, click up here. But those two books both made me so happy for different reasons. The first one is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I do have tabs in here. Kind of scared to see what those are. Oh, a quote about people pleasing. All right, let's skip that one because we're talking about why this book is happy. Another quote about people pleasing. You are in all my happiest places. Yes, yes, we love that. In every universe, it's you for me, even if it's not me for you. This book was so good, I ate it up. I ate this book up, okay? So, Happy Place by Emily Henry is definitely up there. The next book is actually the first Harry Potter book. I am reading the Harry Potter books for the first time as an adult, and it's been such a fun experience. And the first book was just made me happy because I was like, oh, I've been missing out on this, and it's just such a fun, it's just a fun time. The next question is the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year. I don't really buy a lot of like special editions of books or just like, I don't know, book subscription boxes or things like that. So this question is solely based on just like basic covers of books. But One Golden Summer is such a gorgeous shade of blue. I love it so much. Like just all of the colors in it. It's so beautiful. The bright yellow boat, like just look at that blue of the water of just, it's so pretty. I love it. Carly Fortune's covers are really, really pretty. I love them. The next question is probably the hardest to answer. And it is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I said all of them. I'm just gonna quickly list them. I'm not even gonna go get the physical copy because I will be here forever. First one, Onyx Storm. I'm not even done with Iron Flame. I own Onyx Storm. Yes, I bought that. I bought that quickly after it came out, but I need to get to it this year. Like I can't put off entire series like that. The next one is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I haven't read a Frederick Bachman, but I need to. I think he's gonna be a favorite author. The next one is The Inheritance Games. The Inheritance Games is a part of my Tackling TBR series, so hopefully that will make it happen sooner than later because it's not really up to me, it's up to the Jellycat bag. But after reading almost all of the Natural series this year, I have to read more Jennifer Lynn Barnes outside of the Natural series. And then the last one I put on here, even though I do need to read all of my books, is People We Meet on Vacation, but specifically People We Meet on Vacation because I don't know when the movie's coming out, but it's gonna come out and I need to have read it before then. Super, super excited to read that one. The rest of these questions are the ones added by Katie. So let's get into those. I've also decided I'm not gonna go get physical books anymore. Sorry, you'll see them on the screen, all right? Editing Ellie will just have to be mad at me. But if I keep getting up, I'm never gonna get done, all right? And I'm gonna have to put all these books back. It is what it is, okay? Katie's first question is, what books do you want to reread this year? I'm not a rereader. I'm just not. I just would rather spend that time reading a book that I haven't read yet. I've reread books in the past. I've reread Eleanor and Park like 4 times in high school, but I'm just not a rereader. I'm just really not. Like, I think that's the only book that I've reread. So that's not to say that like in the future, I will never ever reread, but I'm just not a rereader. So this was a hard question to answer. But if I were going to reread a book this year, it would probably be Sunrise on the Reaping, even though I just said stop bringing it up. But as a Hunger Games girly, after finishing that book, I went and re-watched all of the Hunger Games movies because I was like, I need to piece the information I got from this book and put it into the storyline. Even then, I'm still sitting here, I see stuff pop up all the time just on like social media and stuff, and I'm like, I feel like I missed things the first time around. part of me wants to just reread the entire series again. And maybe I will in my lifetime. Hopefully I will in my lifetime. I just don't know when that will be. But if I were going to, it would definitely be Sunrise on the Reaping, because I really feel like I missed some core pieces to the plot. My favorite author so far this year does have to go to Jennifer Lynn Barnes, the mastermind that woman is. I love the Natural series, and I'm hoping that I also love the Inheritance Games series. So she's also the only author that I've read multiple books from this year. So the competition isn't really there, but she wins, okay? The next question, books you've been putting off that you want to get to. Everything in my Tackling the TBR series. I still have 25 books left, 26 books left, 26 books left. So I need to get to those. And then also anything by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I claim that she's one of my favorite authors. I've read 3 books by her now, but I've read Daisy Jones, I've read One True Loves, and I think I've read another, but it's not coming to mind. And they were all 5 stars, I think. I own The Seven Husbands, can't wait to read that, and Malibu Rising. And I know that at least one of those books is going to be 5 stars because I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, but I'm scared. I'm really scared because Daisy Jones was like life altering to me. So I'm just like intimidated because I think it's going to be really good, and it's very well loved, or her books are very well loved. And then Atmosphere just came out, so I'm like, I need to catch up. Like, I'm falling behind at this point. The next question is a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. I love this question. I really only have one answer for this, and it was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Yes, ma'am. No. No, not my copy of One Golden Summer. He's in his menace hours. Hold on, guys. So her like big fans really didn't like this book, and it wasn't a 5-star read for me either. And there's things about it that I don't gravitate to in books or look for in books, and there could be faults of some of the characters, and some of the people just couldn't get past certain characters in the books. But I rated it a 4 stars because of her writing. I really liked her writing, but also Scarlett's character I just really resonated to, and the way that Lucas handled Scarlett's anxiety I really enjoyed, and it's not something that I see in books a lot. So for that reason I enjoyed it. And really also it was just like eye-opening for me because I wanted to read her backlist. So I'm super excited about that. The next question is a series you want to finish before the end of the year. That would be the Harry Potter series. I'm currently on book 3 now. I don't know when I'm gonna start it, but hopefully soon. I need to watch the movie for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is the 2nd book. It's also part of my Tackling the TBR series, so I would like to complete that. So that means I should also complete the Harry Potter series. 5-star predictions for the rest of 2025. I wrote down 2 books. There's probably more, but I wrote down 2, and both of these are not new releases. One is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, just talked about her. I've seen this theory, and I probably talked about it on my channel before, but people have either read Daisy Jones and the Six or The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo first, and I've heard that whichever one you read first becomes your favorite. And I've already read Daisy Jones. I want to know if the theory is correct or if I love The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo just as much. So that's a 5-star prediction. And then the other one is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Just based off of what I've heard, I'm just in a like literary fiction, just general fiction type of mood. And generally those types of books, even though they're probably the least read genre of mine, they tend to become my favorites and books that I think about all the time. Like Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, The Secret Life of Bees. What are some others? I can't think of any others. I really can't think of any others, but there are so many more. And those books tend to be like thought-provoking, and so I feel like Beartown is gonna be up there, and I'm excited because I really do feel like it's gonna be 5 stars. All right, 2 more questions. The next one is, do you think you'll be able to reach your reading goal? Considering my reading goal is 32, and I'm at 29 as of filming this. Absolutely. I might even finish it within the next couple of weeks, so that's super exciting. Are you going to change it? No, I'm not going to change it. One thing that I have done consistently since I made a Goodreads account when I was, I don't know if I was like a senior in high school or if it was like my first year in college, but I've had Goodreads for like 6 years now at least. And one thing that I've done consistently is my reading goal for the next year is always just one more than I actually read. So I read 31 books last year, making my Goodreads goal 32 this year. And I would just like to not change it and put pressure on myself to reach another goal. I'm just happy that I've met my goal so far, even though I haven't yet, but I know I will. By the time I reach my goal, I will just be happy to have met that goal. And I just want the rest of the year just to be fun vibes, see how many books I can read. Then the next year we'll just tack one more on top of that, and that will be my next goal for the year. So I'm not going to change it, and I'm happy to have finished it this early. All right, last question. Any other reading goals for the rest of the year? The only one I can think of really is just to finish my Tackling the TBR series, which stinks because I'm really going to need to put an emphasis on it this latter half of the year, because if I've read 29 books so far for the first 6 months and I keep up that same pace, it means I will probably read about 29 in the second half. Who knows? I'm at least capable of reading that much. I have 26 books though left on my Tackling the TBR, and I don't just read Tackling the TBR books. So it's definitely possible if that's all I read, but it's not. So it's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try. I'm not going to like punish myself or be super upset if I have to carry the Tackling the TBR series through 2026. It would be nice to not have to read those books anymore. A lot of the books in my Tackling the TBR series are books that I just don't want to read and that I've owned for years and years and years, but I feel like I need to give a chance. Whereas all the books that I've been hauling since last July are books that I really want to get to, and they're on a cart in my office that like isn't really shown a lot. And I rarely pull books from there because I know that I need to be reading the books that I've owned for longer. So I just want that challenge to be finished, so that way like I can do like monthly TBRs with like a TBR jar or like bookshelf scavenger hunts and things like that, because those videos, as much as I want to do them right now, they will have an effect on my Tackling the TBR series and it will just mess it all up. So I feel like I'm missing out on different like booktube activities that I just really want to do, but I can't until it's finished. So it would be really nice to have that series done in 2025 so we can start 2026 off fresh with the booktube videos. All right, that is all of my reading thoughts for the first half of 2025. Cannot believe we are starting the second half. That's crazy. I think I haven't talked enough, so I'm not gonna go too much further. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like me, then subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, and I'd love to have you around. And if you haven't left a comment already, please do. If you don't know what to comment, how about, I don't know, if you don't have a YouTube channel or you're not filming this yourself, answer the questions in the comments or tell me what your favorite read of 2025 has been so far. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.